The nursery rhymes you grew up singing, the ones you might even sing to your own children, hide shocking origins that were never meant for innocent ears. Behind their simple melodies and playful words lie plague deaths, political executions, and religious persecution. And I bet you didn't know that these cheerful childhood classics were deliberately disguised accounts of history's darkest moments. Let's peel back the cheerful facade of your favorite nursery rhymes to reveal the disturbing history they've been hiding in plain sight for centuries. Ring Around the Rosie, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. This seemingly innocent circle game you played as a child is actually a grim record of the bubonic plague that devastated Europe in the 1300s. The Rosie was the characteristic rosy red rash that appeared on plague victims' skin. The pocket full of posies referred to flowers and herbs people carried to mask the stench of death and disease, and due to the belief that bad smells transmitted the illness. Ashes, ashes described the mass cremation of bodies when burial grounds were overwhelmed. And we all fall down had the most literal meaning of all, death, as victims collapsed from the devastating disease that killed an estimated 1/3 of Europe's population. Mary, Mary. Quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockleshells, and pretty maids all in a row. This sweet-sounding rhyme about gardening actually refers to the notorious Queen Mary I, known as Bloody Mary, and her campaign of Protestant persecution. The garden symbolizes the increasing cemetery plots during her reign. The silver bells and cockleshells weren't flowers at all, but rather instruments of torture. The silver bells represented thumbscrews, while cockleshells were attached to the genitals of Mary's victims. Most disturbing of all, the pretty maids all in a row refers to the guillotine, nicknamed the maiden used to execute her opponents. Some versions reference maidenheads more directly, decapitated heads lined up on spikes as warnings to would-be dissenters. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. While this seems like a simple song about infrastructure failure, it actually references the disturbing practice of human sacrifice in bridge construction. In medieval and ancient times, bridges frequently collapsed, leading to a superstitious belief that a human sacrifice was needed to appease the water spirits and ensure structural stability. The fair lady in the rhyme was the sacrificial victim, often immured, sealed alive within the bridge's foundation. Archaeological discoveries across Europe have found human remains in the foundations of ancient bridges and buildings, confirming this practice wasn't merely folklore. The rhyme preserved this horrific custom in innocuous lyrics that children would later sing while playing tag. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice, see how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? This rhyme actually chronicles a specific historical event, the execution of 3 Protestant bishops who opposed Queen Mary I's restoration of Catholicism in England. The farmer's wife was Queen Mary herself, while the 3 blind mice were Protestant bishops Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Ridley, and Thomas Cranmer. They weren't literally blinded, but were considered blind to the Catholic faith. And while the rhyme mentions merely cutting off tails, the actual punishment was far worse. All 3 bishops were burned at the stake for heresy in 1555. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. This simple tale of 2 children with a water-fetching accident actually alludes to the French Revolution and the beheading of Louis XIII and his queen, Marie Antoinette. Breaking his crown has a double meaning, both injuring his head and losing his crown as monarch. The tumbling after refers to Marie Antoinette's execution by guillotine months after her husband's. Some historians dispute this specific interpretation, suggesting it instead references King Charles I's tax policy on liquid measures. Either way, The innocent-sounding rhyme documented political events far too complex for children to understand. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come, baby, cradle, and all. This lullaby, with disturbing imagery of a falling baby, actually has multiple dark origins. One interpretation links it to the observation of Native American mothers hanging birch bark cradles in trees. Another suggests it was a death wish for the child of James II of England and Mary of Modena, whose birth threatened to establish a Catholic dynasty. The wind represented political change. The breaking bough symbolized the fall of the Stuart monarchy, and the baby was the heir whose birth many Protestants hoped would not survive, allowing Protestant succession to continue. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush, so early in the morning. This cheerful singing game actually originated in a women's prison in Victorian England. Historians trace this rhyme to Wakefield Prison in Yorkshire, where female prisoners with small children were forced to exercise around a central mulberry bush in the prison yard. The so early in the morning reflected the strict regimentation of prison life. The mulberry bush actually existed and is documented in the prison's records, while the seemingly innocent activity song preserved the bleak daily ritual of women incarcerated with their young children. The transformation of these dark historical events into innocent children's rhymes served multiple purposes throughout history. They preserved historical records during times of censorship, communicated political criticism safely, and, in some cases, warned children of real dangers in terms they could understand. Next time you hear a child singing these seemingly innocent verses, you'll recognize them for what they truly are: encrypted historical documentation of humanity's darkest chapters, hiding in plain sight for centuries. If you found these hidden histories fascinating, hit subscribe for more videos that reveal the unexpected truth behind things you thought you knew. Next time, I'll be showing you what actually happens when you win the lottery. And I bet you didn't know the shocking statistics about how many winners end up broke, divorced, or worse within just 5 years.